Hey everyone, Dr. Frunkey here with a fun knife consult for you. Now this blade totally took me by surprise. I didn't anticipate having a Protech knife on the channel, but my good buddy Walt sent this along with his blue Tashi McGinnis high-tech. Remember the rowdy high-tech? So he sent this in that same box. I just shipped him home his rowdy, and I forgot to send this along with it, but I completely forgot that this has been sitting on my desk for the last couple of weeks. A Protech Magic. So this is an interesting knife. I never really anticipated having one of these. Honestly, I'm not into auto knives a whole lot. The one exception that I've really made recently was that Borka stitch, and I'll get that out here for a comparison in a minute. But this is the Protech Magic. I think the name was written on the box here somewhere. This is the Whiskers design, tuxedo black handle, ivory micarta, and a stonewash blade. So what we have here is a very interesting little sort of gentleman's carry almost. And it's actuated by this bolster right here. So it's a bolster release automatic knife. There it goes. Protech USA. So Protech is a company out of California. I watched their intro video from Dave Wattenberg talking about how they make them all by hand, and they're all high-quality automatic knives, family-owned business and all that. So that's pretty neat, and so definitely intriguing, especially in light of me recently sort of enjoying an automatic knife. And this is a neat little blade. In these smaller folders, I never really think to look for automatic knives, and I don't really know why. I think it's because I'm afraid that one little spring is going to fail, but this company has made their entire reputation on automatic knives. So if you're going to be able to trust somebody, it's going to be one of these larger companies that's doing this. Now, when I say larger, it's not really a huge company. It's a handful of guys in a small factory making this happen, but this is totally built in the USA, and they take a lot of pride on that. So what do we have here? Up front, we've got a 3.125-inch blade of 154 cm. So not CPM 154, the powdered metallurgical form of this, but rather 154 cm, the older version. Now, that's a perfectly decent steel, but we'll talk about that in a minute. Perhaps that could be a nicer steel, but they have done a really nice mirror stonewash on there. It's reflecting me. It's almost capturing my face in there. You might see it if you go back and look. It says Protech USA on there. It's got the Magic BR-1 designation, and it's got the 154 cm blade steel notated on there. It's got a nice swedge, beautiful drop point design, nice high flat grind, very no-nonsense blade shape right there. Very user-friendly blade shape. The mirror stonewash being one of my absolute favorite finishes. I recently got that on one of my Peter Rosenti's. It's got a very solid lockup. So again, I mentioned that the bolster is the release mechanism for both the release and the return to the handle right there. So you just give it a little pull, just like that. It slides up. You can see right there that it just moves ever so slightly, and then you lift it up and it brings it back. I believe that it's actuating this this bar right here, almost like a lockback mechanism. Pretty cool right there. It's got a nice spring. It's not too aggressive. It won't snap this out of your hand, and it will stay in your hand despite the lack of jimping or any other major grip here. This is definitely, they call it tuxedo black. This is definitely more in the gentleman's folder kind of a category here. Smaller, dressier colors. Moving back here, we've got a handle that's primarily made of aluminum. They've got the, as mentioned, micarta inlay right there, and this feels like it might be maybe some kind of plastic over the aluminum. Not sure. Maybe that is aluminum right there. It feels nice. Whatever it is, it feels solid. It may be part of just a piece of aluminum as well. It's got a nice deep carry pocket clip. Rides in and out of the pocket really nicely. There's no place to snag on here. It's a perfect spring clip. I love the functionality on that. And then limited first run number 453 of the Whiskers design on this particular model from my buddy there. It's got a lanyard hole in the back if you're so inclined. And then let's talk about how this carries. It's nice and lightweight. Let's go ahead and bring out the scale here. I can figure out exactly what we're looking at. It feels pretty light. Let me think. All right. I'm thinking maybe in less than 4 ounces. Oh, it's 3 ounces. Very nice. So super lightweight. Gotta like that. So super easy to carry this guy. Now this is really only going to be limited to places where you can carry automatic knives. You can't really carry a whole lot of automatic knives a lot of places. So let's get some knives out here for a size comparison. I've got a ZT-0392. This is a 3.5-inch blade. Much bigger knife overall, since we talked about this earlier, and it's also an automatic knife. The Borka Blades Microtech Stitch. Definitely more imposing right there with the big guy. Let's see, I think this is a good size comparison with the Frank Fisher and Robert Carter knives Talon. So this Talon is a little bit bigger here. Very, very beautiful blade. Get that on camera every opportunity that I can. Another mirror washed blade here. I've got my Peter Rizzenti Satori. Absolutely stunningly beautiful knife right there. Just like this Frank Fisher, showing off that satin finish there. Bring out a Riot Knives Bodega. Much bigger in comparison here. So this is a small knife. You know, you're probably looking at, you know, Rat 2 categories here. You're going to be looking at Spyderco Delica categories here in terms of the size. I should probably get some of these reference blades and start doing that on this channel like everyone else does. But relatively small knife. Overall, very slim, very easy to carry, nice clip, lightweight, everything slides past it in the pocket. Now, let's just get to the elephant in the room. This is an automatic knife, okay? Like I said before, it will automatically limit you from owning it in certain places of the country and the world. It's a little bit, takes a little bit of the fun out of the knife, to be honest. A smaller knife like this would be a lot of fun to kick the blade out. I see the appeal in having an automatic knife. It does fire very firmly and it locks into place every time. There's never any question about possible lockup. It's always going to lock up, so I do see the appeal there, but you're fighting that spring. It's a very strong spring you're overcoming there every time, and it just takes a little bit of that element of fun out of it. But I think anyone watching this video kind of already knows that about automatic knives. But if this is your preference, I don't see how this could possibly be a bad knife. This is a nice steel, a decent steel, one that will work. It's got a nice construction quality, made out of aluminum, made here in the USA. It is centered, mostly. Well, sometimes it comes centered, sometimes it actually falls a little bit off center, but that is just the nature of automatic knives sometimes. However, I will say that my Borka Microtech has never ever been anything but dead centered. So that's something I have noticed, that this one is not always on center. Sometimes I'll fire it out, bring it back, and it will be dead center, and then sometimes it's a little bit off towards the what would be the lock side over there. So I don't know that I can necessarily recommend this knife. I did not really EDC this knife. This didn't really appeal to me in any strong way. I'm not really going to recommend it for a second reason, and that is that if I'm looking over at the computer screen right now, this knife costs $239. $239. So a relatively expensive knife right here. For $220 right now today, you could also get the ZT-0055. Okay. For, let's see, around $400, you can have this guy. For around $100, you could get one of these new Wii knives that have come out lately. This is the 709 model, brand spanking new model right here. So I'm just saying, there are plenty of alternatives out there, especially at that price point of about $240. I understand that there's some craftsmanship here, there's some subtlety, and there's some definite quality going on here, but I just can't justify a $240 price. So I couldn't recommend buying this at that price point. You know, it reminds me too much of the $20 automatic knives. And so, hate to be that kind of a guy, but this knife showed up unexpectedly, and those are just my thoughts on it. If you think Protech knives are awesome, let me know down below how wrong I am. Maybe send me another one for comparison. Thank you guys for watching. Click like and subscribe to my channel. Go check me out on Instagram at Dr. Frunkey. And as always, guys, this is Dr. Frunkey saying, take care.